Justin, how's it going, man? How you doing? Luvion, how's it going, man? How you doing? Lyola, how's it going today? We on 1231 visiting every. How's everyone doing this fine Tuesday morning or afternoon? Trial killed. I heard the trial. I heard the trial was complicated. What happened? I mean, I popped by for like 2 minutes. Don't get me wrong. Oh, how's it going, man? You are not late at all. Pushcar, how's it going, man? I don't know how often I can attend these streams the next few days, but no worries, Luvian. I appreciate you popping by at all, buddy. What the f do you mean early, bro? It's like 1 o'clock. What do you mean? Doing good? No, I'm doing good, Pushcar. It's nice. I mean, not being at work is like it's always it's always a surreal experience because you're like, holy shit, this is what life could be if I was worth like $10 million and never had to. Oh, your class. Okay, yeah. Devil, we're not gonna start reading for 20 minutes, so you're good. You're good. If you need to piss off and then go listen to your class, and come back in like 20 minutes. Lee, Tenop, Godzilla, how's it going, guys? Oh shit, Romero, when did you get here? What the fuck? This Wordle is kind of okay. It's a 3-hour class. By the time I'm like 2 hours in, my brain's checked out. Wow, okay. How is Gerhardt's Sauron doing? He's doing great, man. He's doing great. I think it's in about 50 chapters, guys. I think it's like 1280 or something. I'm gonna have the volume ending stream on Saturday. We'll get that scheduled a little early so that if you know, if whoever wants to come can hopefully schedule their shit around that. T.I. Is Gerhard your piece? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly, Devil. Well, wait, 66? No, that can't be. Wait, what? 1266? We're only like... That's not that much at all. How am I supposed to stretch that? Okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. We'll do it. A-T-I... T-O... Yeah, I trust you. Yeah. Yeah, Saturday night. It would be Saturday night for you, Pushkar. Yeah, it'd be Saturday morning for me. But no, Lugan. What I'll try to do is I'll just try to do a bit of shorter streams, and then that way Saturday we can. Because I prefer to do volume ending streams on the weekends, because then that way more people can pop by. It's better. Whether we do the results of the trial, I saw Kana's new nickname, so I could kind of infer it from that. I asked him. I I asked him if we should change his name on our server too. He did not take kindly to that. It. He told. Okay. Okay. So let's go TIH. You mean you'll stream around this? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, hope. TIHI. No, TIHO. Shit. Oh, this is so bad. Oh, this is so bad. Okay. So it's TI. So close and so far. Oh, so close. Oh, so. Fuck that. Hey, from having nothing to that is like really good. It's fine. We'll take it. What? Fair enough, Hope. Fair enough. Okay. The ring. Mr. I clutched it at the end. Oh, nice. Okay. Reverse W. Okay. Where's my... That's so interesting. My left headphone is dead. Not hearing anything out of it. Sure. Ouroboros? What? God, it's telling me to read. It's telling me to read. Profanity? Swearing? Whole lot of what? Let's go. Okay. How's histamine mystery stirring? Stirring? Airing? Earring? It's fate, actually. It's fate. Oh my god, I need to read. Christmas. It's fucking Christmas. Barshawn, how's it going, man? How you doing? Actually, I want to change the music. I want something a little more upbeat today. At least for now. Okay, we might change it after, but I'm a little sleepy, so it's better to have a little bit more upbeat. What about a long volume 7 stream on weekend instead? We can do that on Sunday, Pushkar. We can do that on Sunday. I don't know. Ouroboros generally refers to like infinity. Milosh, how's it going, man? Yeah. Bro, I don't know what this is. Wrongs. How's it going, man? Shit. I don't know. Go to Lexicon. I don't know. Fucking modded. Yeah, no, okay, buddy. Yeah, no, okay. What's a pleather vest? So leather is like a material that's good lord, it's like an artificial material that's made to look like leather. So like a fake leather vest, effectively. Base, basic, common. Shit. Basic, regular, common, common, soon, happening, common, occurrence. I think that's how you spell that. Fuck, how do you spell it? Double C, double R. Oh. Okay. Happening, occurrence. Happening. Plague, how's it going, man? Leather is an awful material? I don't know. Mundane. Mundane, maybe. No. Oh, yes. Okay. Mundane happening. Chore. Shit. Because I thought like mundane, like something you have to do every day. I like Persona 5 music, okay? Don't judge me. Regular? Regular's already on there. What do you want? Common, mundane. Task? Chore, task. Work? Work happening. Boring? Boring happening. Event? Okay. Okay, now we have like two big chains, okay? We just need to connect them. Work, task, boring, school. Learning. Milo! She gave us a good, you gave me a good line. Thank you. We'll do one take and then we'll start, okay? Santa, how's it going, man? Bro, I don't know where's my... Oh, there it is. Okay. It just wasn't plugged in all the way because my left headphone wasn't working. It was irritating the shit out of me. Okay. This seems like Eastern European. No, that looks like German to me. I'm no expert in the German language. But Bischkopf, that definitely seems like German. You finished Lord of the Mysteries around mid to late November. Mid to late November? Alex, Lee, what are you on? We'll go with Berlin. We will go with in the early 80s. This is 2002? What is this dog shit quality? Excuse me? Yeah, it shouldn't be any later than October. I mean, we're, what? 200 chapters out? 200 chapters, assuming I do 5 to 6 streams, let's say 5 streams a week. It's normally 7, but let's just say 5. 5 chapters a week, 5 chapters a stream, times 8 weeks. That would give me to 200. It should be by the end, it should be finished by October. You expect 4K DS? I was expecting better quality by 2002. Come on, I'm not asking for 4K Ultra HD, fucking HDR, but like I'm expecting like, okay, this is like legible. Come on, like this, like look, the quality on this photo is like way better than the quality of the other one. Excuse me, Ramiro. I didn't know you were like that. What's up? I know you were chill like that. Am I crazy or does this also look German? Is that, am I insane? Wait, Romero, when do you have to start studying for your exams? You overestimate the quality of photos in the early 2000s? I mean, maybe, bro. I don't know. Am I crazy? I feel like this is German again. I'm the highest. I'm chill now. What the fuck did you mean I'm high as fuck? What? Perks of a remote job. Well, I start my remote job in 2 weeks, so that's gonna be cool. That is gonna be cool, Quantum. I'm studying already, exam November 10th. Oh shit. Okay, yeah, so we definitely want to get done sooner for you then, because otherwise all of October you're probably gonna be out of commission. Yeah. Sure. Alright, I'm gonna go with here 1948. Come on, what do we got? Oh my god. 72? Really? Why is it not color photo by 72? What? You're gonna do good. You're gonna do good, Romero. You're gonna do great. Don't even worry about it. Something Junior. Believe in your strongest soldier. Yes, yes. We're gonna have to trust. We're gonna have to trust Devil. Mainly I'm gonna be trusting DSV. I want to be clear, super clear. But yeah, I do trust Devil to clutch it up. You know. It says Lunar. Oh, Lunar Junior. Libra. Okay, once again, European, but this is interesting because that's English for sure. But who would have thought this would have been like Rome or Italy or something? But then there wouldn't be a lot of English done. Huh? Crazy. Greece? Greece wouldn't have this much English for sure. 1990s. Fuck, Romania? Really? I'm at the yes, true Devil. Yeah, if it gets bad enough, we might have to make Milos mod again until Romero comes back. I hope that time does not come, but if it must, we will do what we need to. I'm gonna have to lock in for this. Do you have an idea of something going on too, Bishkar? This is beautiful, bro. Can you imagine living in a house like this? Holy shit, Stain. Look at this fucking house. It's not even a house. This is a mansion. Oh. Cute little statue. I'll go with where's the highest concentration of castles in the world? France. Fun fact. But this one, of course, is in Brazil. I knew this, of course, but I thought I was just running away with it too much. You know, I was getting too many points, so I decided to just leave this one. You know, it's all good. I have a huge entrance exam starting in January, but I have to study a lot. Hey, good for you, man. That's awesome. Okay, no worries. Khaled, how's it going? Jesus Christ, Romero, what the fuck? Okay. I've graduated, so I don't give a fuck about. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have to start studying. I'm gonna take like a couple months off because I want to just chill for a little bit. But then I'm gonna start studying for some designations and stuff. So I have to start studying for my CFA. But that'll be later. We'll take a couple months off. USA 1934. They're driving on the right side. That's actually might not be the worst guess ever. Winessi chemist. You know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. We go here. We go 19. I'm gonna go 24. In fairness, Milos's year was very close, but damn, that was cooked. Persona songs are peak, dude. I fucking love this shit. Okay, let's go. That's almost 1 o'clock on the dot. Let's start reading. And we have this. Yeah. This whole shenaniganery. God, I love the tarot. This is so cool. Tarot cards, rather. I mean, it's best in the corner, I think. But then it blocks out the angels, which is kind of annoying to me. Do we put it here, dead center, between Adam and Thing? I don't know. Nah, that seems too busy. Did you do the new script? No, Ramiro. Blame this on, this is Blinded's fault. It's not my fault. He got me to start playing Lies of P, so I spent the afternoon doing that. Yeah. The fact that the signs were in... Motherfucker, other countries other than the US keep English? What do you mean? I'm just starting, Romero. I'm just starting out. So I just got to the hotel or whatever, and then now I'm trying to find the maker or something. I don't know. Vershawn, no, we don't. Okay, let's go. Emlyn subconsciously looked at the high stool on the other side of the room and saw the exquisite doll. Oh, they want to do the... Oh, the Shaman King for a thing. Combat is great, right? I hope you get... combat is good, definitely. Yeah, it's very Dark Souls 3-esque in my mind. It's good. His eyes immediately revealed a look of astonishment, admiration, ardor, and other mixed emotions. He opened his mouth and almost blurted out the question of where he could buy such a doll, and who was the master behind this piece of work. Did you just kill him? However, he was already an adult and experienced plenty of things. He knew that bringing up such a question was very impolite, so he planned on finding an opportunity after the discussion. Sharon frowned indiscernibly as her body floated up. She bowed at Renette Tyneker and Sherlock. There's no need for small talk, Klein simply said. Our initial plan is... He shared how he would let his historical projection take the initiative to step into a trap to attract the attention of the Rose School of Thought. Sharon, with her black bonnet, listened quietly and said, with a slightly ethereal voice, they might not fall for it. Oh, actually, that reminds me. Milos, okay, so before I knew that, like, the fucking, apprentice path would be, like, traveling planets and shit, or, like, it is kind of crazy to me that, like, Pluto might not be correct, but in essence, I feel like that fits so perfectly. Sharon, with her black bonnet, listened and said, they may not fall for it. After realizing that you are the attacker, the Shaman King will likely choose to retreat under the protection of sealed artifacts or angels. This way, it could only implicate a portion of the Rose School of Thought's strength. Ramiro, here's what you should do, okay, in response to that. You want to look up the final twist of Reverend Insanity and just message it to him. Sorry, no, don't do that. Without waiting for Emlyn and Klein to respond, Renette Tyneker's four heads opened their mouths and spoke. Their main target should likely be me. Emlyn was a little lost after hearing this, but he could roughly tell that the spirit world creature that Gearman had summoned had quite a status. Furthermore, it had a deep relationship with the Rose School of Thought. That's right, even if the Mother Tree of Desire thinks highly of me, our setup would likely be to attract Miss Messenger. After a moment of silence, Klein gave an addendum. Madam, you and I will attack the other Shaman King in the form of historical void projections. Bearman is so respectful towards this creature, Emlyn thought. He shivered instinctively as he saw the 8 eyes sweep at him. Can this fool those from the Rose School of Thought? Since Klein had suggested that, he must have thought of another solution. I have an item that can be lent to Miss Raynette's Heinker. Having said that, he looked at Raynette and said, this item can mimic the powers that surface in your mind. I hope you can use it to summon your past self and move yourself into a concealed state and inject your consciousness into the projection. This way, the Rose School of Thought won't be able to discover anything abnormal quickly. It's very likely that they'll fall for it and will gather all their strength to surround and kill you, allowing Sharon and Emlyn to find a chance to launch a counterattack. If they're more cautious than I thought... Klein paused and smiled. In that short period of time, if you join forces with me in your peak condition, there's a chance of killing the Shaman King, despite him being under the protection of a sealed artifact. I love how Gehrman is now like, you and me together, girl? Nah, we could take on the world. Don't you worry about it. Sealed artifacts, whatever. Nah, I'd win. We'd win. We're okay. Yes, Pushkar, that's exactly why. Dr. Z, how's it going? Yeah, that's exactly why. Which is fascinating to me, because he's not even on the Discord, but I mean, all the same. Now, the main point is, do you know enough about Beyonder powers to summon historical void projections as well as entering a concealed state? I can demonstrate the former to you, but I will think of a way for the latter. Raynette Heinker shook her heads. I can. No problem. That's the general gist of it. You can confirm the details in the next few days, Klein silently said. Unhinged, how's it going, man? Oh, by the way, Unhinged, you and I are both Hunter Pathways in D&D. So, you and me, we're going to be hurling those Yo Mama jokes back and forth, okay? Let's see who can digest the Conspirer potion quickly. Sharon nodded and said the most important thing is intel. Teacher can provide a portion of it, the rest can be obtained through magic mirror divination. Merrick echoed, I remember the symbol you drew back then. She also remembered that the question posed by the hidden existence didn't violate much of her privacy. Emlyn thought for a moment and asked, how do we communicate on both sides? If we can't grasp the timing accurately, the plan will fail. Sharon glanced at Raynette and said that Teacher's main body can stay on our side. 10 seconds after she enters her concealed state, we will take action. I'm gonna make you miserable in D&D? Ah, nah, I trust you. We'll be fine. Oh, I'm gonna hit you with so many Yo Mama jokes, you're gonna want to quit, bro. Just you wait. Once she exits her concealed state, we'll leave, regardless of whether we've succeeded or not. Emlyn jumped in fright as he instinctively looked to Gehrman. He remembered very clearly that she was summoned by Mr. World. How terrifying. Emlyn didn't know if he was referring to the Spirit World creature or Gehrman. After the intel gathering is done, you can communicate again. Seeing that it was almost time, Klein took off his hat and bade farewell. Emlyn's lips quivered, but he didn't ask anything in the end. He followed Gehrman out of the house and out of the house where Sharon and Merrick were. Miss Messenger didn't ask for any coins. Is this because I'm helping her? If she really wants payment, all the gold coins I have are projections. I can only rely on Emlyn. I have to say that the bangle of spirituality that Emlyn provided Miss Magician is pretty good. It strengthens her spirituality, and on the other hand, speeds up her recovery. Just as this thought ran through his mind, Emlyn asked that Miss Sharon is a demigod of the mutant pathway? That's right, her potion name is Puppet, Klein kindly informed him. At the end of D&D, I will give you my characteristics so I can... Jesus Christ, Unhinged, what the fuck? Jesus Christ, Unhinged, that's so fucking crooked. I'm not even gonna take it. You know what? Fucking, I will turn you into a sealed artifact and then sell you to like the most unhinged person I can find. I can just be like, you know what? You keep them. There we go. Emlyn was instantly enlightened as he fell silent before saying, if only she didn't speak, she would be perfect. What a fucking weirdo, bro! Oh my god, what is he on? Bro, she could kill you in an instant. If it wasn't for the fact that a clown could be described as a master of expressions, Klein nearly spewed a mouthful of water at Emlyn. He thought that the other party would praise Miss Sharon's beauty and characteristics, showing his infatuation, but in the end, I don't know what the hell is going on in this guy's mind, Klein thought. Emlyn glanced at him and seemed to have guessed and said, which two things do you like most? With Gehrman's character, he wouldn't have expected such a mundane question, but he was still Sherlock Moriarty, a friend of the vampire in front of him. After some thought, he walked casually and said, money and delicacies. Every fantasy shattered. Oh my god. Oh god. Then I'll give you a stack of edible gold pounds. Would you like it? Emlyn asked. So. Sorry, Klein imagined it, but then slowly shook his head because it would taint the value of gold pounds. Oh my god, he's so cringe. So, Emlyn said, although I like the exquisite, beautiful, pure dolls, if they were to combine, and girls, if they were to combine, it would inevitably I would inevitably find it a little odd. Yes, I believe that every doll of mine has their own character and story. If they were to come to life and not be like what I imagined, I would be disappointed. Of course, if I had the chance to obtain the puppet potion and sprinkle it on my puppets, I might try. If Miss Justice was here, she would be able to analyze Emlyn's mental state, Klein thought, but then he immediately faded and vanished away. How much do you think he'd pay for Sharon to just sit there? Well, I don't know, Bullseye. I don't want to know the answer to that either. I hope, bro, I'm telling you, I hope Sharon just kills them. Fuck it. I don't even care. Real or cake? True. Oh my god, just kill him, bro. Oh my god. Give his characteristics to someone more worthy. Holy shit. In the rental apartment where Forz and Geo lived, in front of the fireplace, Forz leaned back and fell asleep with cogitation. 2 hours later, she woke up feeling energized. This Miss Magician took a deep breath and extended her hand, pulling Gehrman out of thin air once again. Half of her demigod level records were in the form of summoning historical void projections. Klein glanced at her this time, without even nodding, and directly teleported out of the house. 2 hours ago, he had been busy with Emlyn and Sharon. This time, he returned to Backland for himself. Without wasting any time, Klein took out the adventurer's harmonica and blew it. When Miss Messenger walked out of the void again, Klein recounted how he wanted to hunt Kotar and asked, do you have any suggestions? Sephura Castle. How? I don't know, Raynette answered. Sorry to trouble you. You can leave now. Raynette immediately replied, bill records for 1351, September, for Gehrman Sparrow. Owes me 1 gold coin. With that, she turned transparent and returned to the real world, to the spirit world. Oh, based. He was like, bitch, you still owe me, I haven't forgotten. Dans, I don't think I've seen you here before, man. How you doing? Thanks for popping by. She's like, aw, bitch, you remember 2 weeks ago? Sent a letter. Monies. Let's go. With that, Klein was stunned before he took out his wallet and picked up a paper crane. I have some questions to ask you, he wrote on the crane. After doing this, he laid down on a bed and fell asleep. In the hazy dream world, he once again saw Will Ossipton, who was lying in a black pram. You're already over a year old. You still think you're just a baby? Pretending that he didn't see him sucking his fingers, Klein quickly described his conundrum. The plump Will Ossipton retracted his thumb and sized up Klein. Boys, you know what time it is. Willie Steamboat's here! Let's go! We'll move it a little bit. We'll move it over here. You were saying, Romero? Isn't the answer obvious? Will asked. What? Klein was surprised. You must have been eating too many desserts recently, causing your memory to be horrible. Do you still remember what happens to a Beyonder below an angel of the fate pathway when they see you? Klein's eyes lit up. No respect for an angel? Bro, if he would stop sucking his thumb and asking for ice cream like a little bitch, you might get some. Now, if you got rid of that yee-ass haircut, you might get some bitches on you. I will send you the web novel covers for different languages and you would said which is the West. Yeah, sounds good, man. What are the last two members only VODs? What now? Smokey, the last two members only VODs are members only. What is your question? Oh. Yep. After becoming a demigod and gaining some control of Sephura Castle, Klein was able to prevent its aura from permeating out in the real world. This made him stop considering similar problems. After all, this would result in abnormalities. Yeah, well, Smokey, they're members only. What? So the last one should be available in about show them. Oh, the last one should be available in about 2 hours. The one after that will be available tomorrow in 2 hours. Wait, that's so dumb. Okay, never mind. I must have screwed them up when I was scheduling them. They'll both become available in 2 hours. Never mind. After all, this was a result of abnormalities causing him to be recognized by Beyonders of the Fate pathway at a glance. At this moment, he received Will Ossipton's reminder. But you can watch them right now, Smokey, if you become a member. Shameless plug. When I was watching... Please join if you can. I need to pay rent. When I was only a subsidiary to Sephura Castle and had only the rights to use it, the aura and projection of the castle made a saint of the fate pathway not dare to look at me. I was equivalent to a mythical creature in the eyes of a corresponding low and mid-sequence Beyonder. Now that I have initial control of Sephura Castle, there's a high chance I can make the effects better. This can affect angels who are complete mythical creatures themselves. Sephura Castle's level reaches not that of a sequence 0, reaches that of a sequence 0 at least. What does one have to do with another, Dr. Z? What, you don't think I pay rent? Yes, according to my deductions, it might even be higher than a sequence 0. It has the traits that just knowing of it will result in corruption. Klein's mind whirred with activity as though streaks of lightning were flashing across his mind. He quickly made up his mind. After returning to the Forsaken Land of the Gods, he would find the monsters in the depths of the darkness and do some experiments with the marionettes in the fog of history, so as to deduce if his idea worked. He smiled and said, "I understand what you mean. I'll get someone to send you ice cream soon." "No, there's no need. I've been eating too much ice cream during this period of time. It is starting to affect my body's developments." Genuine, top-grade ice cream, produced right here from the Intis capital, Trier. Give it to me next week. With that said, the plump 1-year-old child turned around and buried his face in a pillow. Due to the limited time Miss Magician had at maintaining the projection, Klein didn't say anything else, and forcibly escaped the dream. Right on the heels of that, he stretched out his hand and pulled at the air. 4 or 5 times later, he pulled out the Servant of Concealment, the ascetic leader of the Church of the Evernight, Ariana. At the same time, in Hillston Borough, in an apartment, Fours, who was sitting in a reclining chair, seemed to be pulled by invisible threads as she sat up abruptly. Her body straightened as her blood vessels on her head throbbed. She felt her spirituality was like a flood that flowed towards the void in front of her. The one that couldn't be stopped no matter how hard she tried. In the next second, this urge ceased quite a bit, but it still remained frightening. In a hotel room, Klein spoke succinctly with Ariana. I plan on cooperating with others to deal with a particular shaman king of the Rose School of Thought. Ariana nodded, indicating she understood, but didn't give any suggestions. Klein felt a lot more at ease with the plan to hunt the Shaman King, seeing that she didn't give him any warnings. He then said, I've been planning on targeting the dark demonic wolf recently. Be careful. Did she mean to say that I shouldn't belittle Kotar? Just as he was about to ask a question, he saw the woman opposite him fade away. Thud. Force collapsed into the reclining chair, her face twitching. This is more tiring than I imagined, she gritted her teeth, trying to fall asleep. Oh yeah, because he's, in essence to them, he's like a full mythical creature, so looking at him is like looking at a mythical creature form, so it kind of causes some madness. But I don't know how that helps him with Kotar, if I'm honest. Oh, they are slight. Oh, you are right, that they are. In the Forsaken Land of the Gods, near Nois, ancient city, there was no one in the darkness. With a lantern emitting a faint light, Klein circled around. Then he found a rock to sit down, no longer shielding the aura of the grey fog from seeping into reality. On this foundation, Klein consciously strengthened the projection that Sephura Castle placed on him. Oh, let me get rid of Willy now, sorry. After he was done, he quickly turned a monster in the darkness into a marionette. The marionette walked out of the darkness, under the illumination of the lantern, approaching Klein. In the eyes of this monster, other than the coated and hatted Klein, having a deeper, more profound eyes, his temperament had also become indescribable. There wasn't much of a difference from before. After repeatedly testing the different monsters of the monster marionettes, Klein confirmed that ordinary people, or at most Beyonders, were unable to discover that he had the aura of Sephura Castle. Following that, he reached out his hand and pulled out his body from half a day ago. He controlled the projection to cast his gaze over. This time, Klein saw a layer of grayish-white fog covering his body, its interior shimmering with light. He then removed the projection support and attempted to pull out Marionettist Rosego and other Beyonders of the Seer pathway. After enhancing the projection, Beyonders of the Seer pathway can directly discover something abnormal, but those below that of an angel can at least confirm that below that of an angel can at least confirm I'm related to Sephura Castle. There's no way to directly see the strange door of light. He took a deep breath, and after preparing to rescue himself, he raised his hand and pulled out Inuni. Inuni raised his head bit by bit, and his eyes reflected Klein's figure. Deep in the fog, transparent or translucent twisted maggots were clustered around countless spherical lights. The spherical lights formed a door of light dyed bluish black. I imagine that once Klein becomes an angel, he would be able to go to that door of light. The door of light was much clearer than before, as at the same time its shape had changed as it extended even higher. It made it look like a tall, thin, brilliant figure, and the grayish-white fog around it was the figure's hooded robe. Yeah, it's spelled Inuni, E-N-U-N-I. The spherical lights constantly flashed, making Klein feel like he was being watched by this mysterious figure. With a boom, Klein's head involuntarily tilted back as a mixture of blood with transparent maggots spurted out. The worms of spirit fell to the ground as they frantically rolled and struggled, some of them rapidly dissipating, while some eventually calmed down before crawling back into his body. Aw, shit. Alright, no worries, Varshan. Thanks for popping by, buddy. Appreciate you. I don't know. I used to pronounce Backland as something else way back in the day. Like when I first started reading, and everyone was like, "No, you're pronouncing it wrong. You're saying something bad." I can't remember what I was saying, but like, I don't know. There's probably not that many people here who even remember it, but I don't know. I used to pronounce it as something fucking weird. I can't remember. Autumn, how's it going, man? Did you change your profile pic? Inuni, who was standing in front of him, had already vanished because of the impact that Klein had made. This was one of the reasons why Klein didn't suffer too much damage. Without Inuni, he was able to see the mutated strange door of light. This reduced the continuous assault on his senses. After 2 seconds, Klein entered the fog of history, took 4 steps counterclockwise, and went above the grey fog. Yeah, Ramiro would definitely be one of them. I think Ramiro's probably been here since like my 2nd or 3rd stream ever. Looking at the faint dark glow rising from his body and melting away, Klein heaved a sigh of relief and gave a self-deprecating laugh. I nearly corrupted and corroded myself. Yeah, of course, Milosh. In the future, I'll use Rizego and other Beyonders of the Seer Pathway to do additional experiments. If there's no direct assault, I need to confirm if there will be a reverse corruption from Sephura Castle's projection with the increase in observation time. I think Devil's the main reason we even have a fucking Discord. I remember the yes, I remember that Unhinged. Yes, true. The southern continent, East Balam, Fowltech City. Under the illumination of the crimson moon, the lone soldiers hiding behind a simple shelter took turns to recover their energy. I still listen to Milos, just a little bit less. Their faces were black, covered with traces of gunpowder. Occasionally, someone would wake up and take some dried tobacco leaves and roll it. They would use the remaining matchsticks to light it up and bring it to their mouth to suck deeply. When the soldiers guarding their line of defense smelled the tobacco, they instinctively sniffed and looked over. "Do you have any more leaves?" the soldier asked. "I already finished smoking it." "I don't know when the next batch will arrive. I'm going crazy without the tobacco," the soldier said. "You see that? There's so many corpses, so many hands, so many feet. They all belong to people." Before the sunset... Oh, by the way, has anyone played Metal Gear Solid something Delta? What the fuck is the name? Like Snake Eater Delta or some bullshit? I can't remember. Delta Snake Eater, sure, yeah. Before the sunset, the Resistance had launched a fierce attack by feverishly storming the various defensive lines of Fowltech City. Their disregard for their own lives frightened the lone soldiers. They almost had victory in hand, but failed to break through the critical line of defense. His comrade fell silent before saying, maybe tomorrow or the day after, we'll be joining them. I know, I've never played any Metal Gear Solid game, but I've heard this one is like good, because I think it's like a remake of 3 or something. I don't know. Yeah, it's a remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Yeah. So I might play that. I don't know. I've never played any Metal Gear Solids though. Maybe tomorrow or the day after we'll be joining them. Having said that, he looked up at the crimson moon and said, "I wonder how Backland is. I haven't received a letter from home in a while. I wonder if they have enough food, or if they can find a doctor when they're sick." The soldiers who wanted to smoke was about to curse at the damn war and the damned enemies when his eyes widened. Trembling, he pointed ahead. They're alive! One by one, the soldiers looked over and saw that under the crimson moon, the dismembered corpses that the Resistance had left behind were beginning to crawl up, one by one. swaying as they approached the defensive line. In the distance, a mysterious hooded figure in a black robe with embroidered crimson patterns stood behind the resistance, spreading out his hand. The spirituality of the entire battlefield was being nourished. Who the fuck is this? Is this Medici? Who the fuck is this? Very briefly, Pushkar. I never had any Nintendo consoles growing up. I mean, other than the Wii, I guess. So, but like, just a little bit. Why are you making what the fuck? Wait, what the fuck, Romero? Battle music? Damn it, fine. Damn it, I was enjoying the music. But fine. We'll do lore accurate music. Order, how's it going, man? Ever since the war became prolonged, the lone soldiers had seen countless unnatural phenomena. It happened so many times that some were numb to it. However, the scene of the dismembered corpses crawling up remained a shocking scene, leaving them horrified and confused. There was a reason why they were able to maintain their morale after seeing so much. Just as they were feeling extreme fear, a series of chants sounded from behind them. Lacking clothes and food, they have no shelter in the cold. The Evernight did not forsake them, but bestowed them with love. The holy and sympathetic prayer reverberated across the entire line, causing the fear in every soldier to quickly dissipate. Then a number of soldiers followed orders and moved out cannons covered in silver patterns, adjusting the muzzle and aiming them at the corpses ahead. Sparks flew out as shells landed in different spots of the battlefield. The corpses collapsed, the strength within them vanishing. Otherwise, they were quickly destroyed, returning to their eternal slumber. The mysterious black-robed man behind the resistance raised his arms upon seeing this, as though he was hugging the crimson moon. At that moment, his body turned incorporeal. His body dyed with a faint red as he transformed into a hazy ray of moonlight. The moonlight shattered instantly, turning into red scales before dissipating. Moonlight transformation. A Beyonder power that a Sequence 5 Scarlet Scholar possessed to a Sequence 4 Shaman King. It was almost instinctive. At the spot where the Shaman King had been, a figure quickly outlined itself. A huge cloth doll, it had blonde hair and bright red eyes, wore a long gothic dress with countless mysterious patterns engraved on it. Raynette? Swirling around it was sinister vines. Its skin had a luster that no human could possess. Raynette Tyneker. She had used the Staff of the Stars to summon herself back when she was in perfect condition. Of course, the Staff of the Stars that was lent to Miss Messenger was the real one. Klein had brought it back to the real world. If this wasn't the case, it would be equivalent to Klein's historical projection summoning a Staff of Stars projection, then the Staff of Stars projection would summon Raynette Tyneker in her peak state. The whole burden would be placed on Force, causing her spirituality to be quickly drained. A solution to this was to temporarily lend the actual staff to Raynette. The draining of the spirituality would be borne by this ancient bane. At the same time, Raynette was probably one of the existences that were least afraid of the negative effects. As a key representative of her faction, as a puppet and a cloth doll, she could stop unwanted scenes from surfacing in her mind. The peak state, Raynette had attempted to sneak closer to directly possess the Rose School of Thought's Shaman King and instantly end the battle, but the other party had discovered the danger ahead of time, using the moonlight illumination. Amidst the crimson glow that enveloped the ground, Red Scales rapidly transformed into black-robed, hooded Rose School of Thought's Shaman King, his eyes closed tightly, not daring to look at the ancient Bane opposite him. Yeah, because if he looks at her, worst case scenario, she could just go mythical creature form and he's insta-dead, right? At the same time, on the other side of the field, a figure rapidly appeared, none other than Gearman Sparrow. He had a transparent glove on his left hand as he raised his right hand and snapped his fingers. You know what Klein should do? He should also get Tinder on his right hand again, because he can use that again now. Why doesn't he do that? Because Tinder can just steal the powers of the people in front of him, which is so based. So like if he takes the Shaman King's like 2 or 3 abilities, like, oh shit, you fucked. Oh yeah, oh it's only sequence 6, yeah, so you can't do shit to a demigod at this point. Yeah, fair. No. Never mind, forgot that. If things went, wait, hold on. If things went as expected, the Rose School of Thought Shaman King would have transformed into a rabbit or a goat. What? No, where am I? Scarlet flames arose from various parts of the battlefield as though they were announcing the beginning of a performance. As the Shaman King finished performing, he reached out his left hand and tore apart his clothes at his chest. At that moment, Raynette's bright eyes reflected his figure. If things went as expected, the Rose School of Thought would have, Shaman King would have transformed into a rabbit or a goat. He would lose most of his characteristics and powers. But his exposed chest revealed a long, thin brown puppet which was embedded there. The puppet seemed to grow out of the Shaman King's body. Its body connected to his internal organs. Its eyes and mouths were like crescent. The surface on its body was grown with dried flowers and withered grass, giving off an indescribable bizarreness. Suddenly, the puppet was dyed red. It immediately turned into a pool of mud that surged into the organs of the Shaman King. Amidst the mud, an arm stretched out. Its surface was flowing like a black sticky liquid that kept protruding out. Some were skulls, some had barbed tongues, while others had 3-dimensional eyes. Abomination Sua. This Rose School of Thought's leader in existence at Sequence 1 had crossed the vast distance and descended to help, with the help of prior arrangements, rather. That evil aura instantly caused the surrounding members of the Rose School of Thought and supporting members to either die, mutate, or wildly attack their comrades. Apart from the Shaman King, no one was spared. I feel like Sua would be such a cool guy to have, like, for Klein to pull out of the historical void projection. Because this motherfucker could just do, like, AoE damage out the ass. If Klein just summons, like, 3 Suas, and then just runs away into the historical void or whatever, and just lets him do AoE damage to Kotar, I feel like you kind of win that. West Balam, in a port city, Shaman King Klarman, who wielded the highest authority there, stood at the top of a cathedral that once belonged to the Church of Evernight. In a house not far away, Emlyn glanced at Sharon and took out a bronze box with many ruby gems. Oh, thank God. I thought this was the box of the great old ones. Inside the box was an eyeball-shaped glass sphere, a sealed artifact which Emlyn had requested from the Sanguine, known as Vision of White. It was very effective at dealing with mutant pathway demigods and shaman kings. It could even be considered able to restrain themselves in certain aspects. Of course, it wouldn't feel any sense of pity and kindness just because Emlyn and Sharon were Beyonders on its side. Upon seeing Sharon nod slightly to indicate that there was no problem, Emlyn's body phased away as the moonlight that shone into the room had disintegrated. At the apex of the nearby cathedral, Klarman was pacing back and forth with his puffy hair. He sneered at the city's Nighthawks and Punishers for moving the citizens and the sealed artifacts ahead of time. If the group consisted only of Beyonders, it wouldn't be impossible to escape, but with so many ordinary people, how would you move without being noticed? There's no need for me to send people to track you. Simply looking down and at the surrounding docks is enough to break you down. As he silently muttered to himself, this Shaman King, who had been active in the southern continent since the early 5th epoch and was even suspected to be dead, cast his gaze out the window, staring at the crimson moon. Previously, the abnormal phenomenon of the crimson moon turning white made Klarman feel angry of the primordial moon. He had become a primordial moon believer over time while researching natural interactions, secret deeds, and other primordial knowledge. Normally, it was relatively easy for a Shaman King to live 1,000 years, but later on his condition waned, an irreversible form of aging and the decay of the spirit body. Therefore, 1200 was considered the normal limit for Shaman Kings and Sanguine Earls. To live continuously, one could rely on various methods to survive. For example, sealing oneself and sleeping in a coffin deep within a castle. Wait, why the fuck? So wait, you're telling me just sleeping in a coffin in a castle will keep you awake? Why is that? Why is the castle so special? What? Kami, how's it going, man? What do you mean woke you up? It's 7 p.m, bro. What the fuck? You were sleeping at 7? What? Why did you sleep at 10? What? Bro, I don't understand you guys. Just as Klarman was focused on sensing the moon in an attempt to gain a revelation, the crimson moonlight that fell onto the cathedral bell tower had pure red scales of light appear as they gathered together. It then manifested into Emlyn, who wore a tuxedo and a bow tie. Behind this sanguine, a thick black gas emanated, forming a pair of illusory bat wings. Emlyn had already consumed the corresponding potion to remove his scent and spirituality fluctuations, allowing him to secretly approach his target. Of course, he was up against a demigod of the same pathway. Even if he was prepared, he didn't dare get close. Looking at the window where Klarman was, he examined the projection on the glass for a second. Emlyn picked up a bronze box with rubies embedded in it and used the black velvet gloved left hand to pick up the vision of white. His expression twisted as he experienced the pain that came from being exposed to the blazing sun. Suppressing the pain, Emlyn pushed the eyeball-shaped glass sphere to his right eye. All the buildings in front of him disappeared from his vision, leaving only shadows. Among them was a figure that was a huge black whirlpool that will crazily devour the light around it. Emlyn's target, Shaman King Klarman. A ray of light immediately lit up, condensing into a scorching, blinding light. It shot out from the vision of white and went straight for the figure behind the glass window. So wait, quick question. So if even a human is of the apothecary pathway, they always have like, can even a human now go into the sunlight, or are they okay too? Or is that just like a vampire, or is that just like a vampire thing that they can't do it? Like humans might be, I assume, weak to the sun pathway, but like it's not like, oh, if they walk into the sun, they're getting burned. Is that accurate? I don't know, I'm just talking out of my ass. Yes, I know the sequence 7 is a vampire, but I'm saying like, let's say a Shaman King. Is a Shaman King also not able to go into the sun without getting burnt? If they were originally human? Weakness, not death. I think it's a curse only. It's like, yeah, but like, doesn't Emlyn always say like, oh, if I go in the sun, like it hurts or whatever? Isn't he kind of a little bitch about it? I'm not saying like he dies if he goes into the sun, but he's like, oh no, I must cover my body or like I get burned. Fucking baby. The blinding white light penetrated the glass window and landed on Klarman. It then burst into an intense light. Check Jefferson's message? What's up? Hey, you skipped this line. In this aspect, Klarman was it? I don't think so, Jefferson. Maybe. I might be wrong though. I might have missed that, but it's possible. The blinding white light penetrated the glass window and landed on Klarman. It then burst into an intense light. Why is my nose so itchy? What the fuck is happening here? It then burst into an intense light, melting away all the undead, darkness, and evil. The Klarman's figure burned with a white light as though he was a paper figurine that had been brought near red embers. But it really was a paper figurine, one that seemed to be condensed from crimson moonlight. As the paper figurine turned to ash, the Shaman King's substitute spell, Moon Paper Figurine. What the fuck is this? As the paper figurine turned to ash, the ancient Shaman King appeared at the top of the cathedral and cast his gaze at Emlyn, who was standing near the bell tower. At the bright time of 11 Quantum, what do you do for work? What? Brother, they... Seeing this... Oh, wait, hold on. At that moment, within Klarman's blood-red eyes, it reflected the figure of Sharon, who was wearing a black regal dress and a bonnet. Her body stiffened as if she had lost control of herself. Seeing this, Emlyn didn't hesitate. It was as if he had practiced it 1,000 times. He aimed his vision of white at Klarman's left chest and prepared to activate the Sun Domain's unshadowed spear. As long as this attack struck Klarman's heart, Klarman wouldn't be able to use his moonlight transformation to resolve it. It would also be difficult for him to recover using the vampire's super recovery abilities. Of course, this would definitely cause more damage to Sharon, who was possessed. However, if they could quickly resolve the target, she was willing to pay the price. Did she tell you that, bro? Software engineer? Oh shit, nice, Quantum. In the previous discussion, Emlyn, Sharon, and Merrick had already discussed a few similar plans and had come to a consensus. This was also the reason why Sharon didn't restrict Klarman by tightening his clothes. Compared to a Wraith's possession, that was easier to resolve for the opponent who could use moonlight transformation. As for whether Klarman would be ashamed of running naked, the answer from the magic mirror was no. Klarman is like, I'm 2,000 years old, if you want to look at my junk, that's a you problem, okay? Taking all these under consideration, they eventually chose to let Emlyn White attack the target so as to deplete the figurine to create an opportunity for Sharon. The transparent glass sphere in Emlyn's hand glowed once again, extending out into a blazing spear that had turned extremely white. But at this moment, Klarman, who was standing at the top of the cathedral, suddenly underwent a transformation. A crack quickly split open in the middle of his forehead, as though there was a blood moon embedded in it. The moonlight surged out like a tidal wave, causing the illusory blonde, blue-eyed Sharon to float out of his body. Klarman's stiff and slow movements restored to normal, and under the radiance of the full moon, he turned into a pool of blood. His figure took form on another steeple of the cathedral. Closely clinging behind him was Sharon. As for the spear that Emlyn had created, it passed through the spot where Klarman was originally standing and flew into the distance. The entire port city was illuminated by the miniature sun. At that moment, Klarman's right shoulder began to squirm before something tore out of his black robe. It was an exquisite male doll the size of a palm and wore a dark red, gold-patterned tuxedo. The puppet sat on Klarman's shoulders and raised its hand, tapping all of its fingers as though it was playing with an invisible instrument. I will say the Rose School of Thought has kinda got it. Every time they try to attack these guys, they've kind of like, got it kind of figured out. Whereas like when you attack the true creator and his cronies, they're like, oh no, I couldn't have seen this coming, and they just get like ripped apart. It's kind of crazy. Abomination Sue is actually kind of a goated leader. Wait, hold on. Sharon's figure was immediately ejected from Clarmon's back as though she suffered a repulsion. Emlyn felt his clothes tighten as they bound tightly. His bow tie came alive in a bit to strangle him. The doll that was a Grade 1 sealed artifact given to Clarmon by the Rose School of Thought was called a General of the Pupilless Eye, an item formed by a Sequence 4 demigod of the mutant pathway who suffered an sudden death. Casual crazy versus competitive crazy. It had a living characteristic and could possess objects with spirits and awaken objects that didn't, according to its wielder's will. However, the wielder needed to feed it with flesh and blood, otherwise it would gradually grow its eyes. Once the sealed artifact was in good condition, it would transform into an evil spirit that chased after its original owner, while abhorring all humans. When Emlyn heard the sound of his bones crying in pain from the burden, the vision of white that was burning in his soul emitted a bright glow, turning the area into a land without shadows or evil. The effects of the General of the Pupilless Eye had on his clothes were severed. However, at that moment, Clarmon had already indescribably muttered a particular word with a cruel smile. He reached out his hand and pulled out an illusory door. The Door of Summoning. The Moon Pathway Sequence 3 was Summoning Master. You could be like, there's so much better names. Summoning Master? That's so fucking mid. Alright, let me open my notes for Summoning Master. Ugh. High Summoner? Okay, that one is a little bit better. Which one do you guys prefer? Do you guys prefer High Summoner or Summoning Master? High Summoner? High Summoner? Alright, we can go with that. That's fine. Under the illumination of the full blood moon on his forehead, thank you, Dr. Z, Clarmon, who was only at a Shaman King level, was unable to complete a summoning. Bro, you've been alive for 2,000 years and you're not even a Sequence 3? Just walk into the sun at that point, bro. Oh my god. However, because of this, there was a certain change in his overall aura. He had lost a lot of his rationality and his madness deepened. In the gaps, two human palms reached out. Their skin had no luster and they lacked texture. Outside the Fowltech city, this Rose School of Thought believers and the followers who had planned on attacking the Lone Army defense began to kill each other, their rationality completely gone. Some, who were originally people, bent their backs and grew grayish-black wolf fur. The corners of their mouths tore open as sticky saliva dripped out. Some of their skin was dyed black and had become as hard as steel. Oh, pushcart, yes, okay. Oh, no, I don't want to interrupt the fight with the story. Fuck. Okay, you know, okay, fine. Okay, fuck. I'll tell you at the end. I'll tell you at the end. It's fine. It's not even that cool, the story. It's fine. Some of their skin was dyed black and had become as hard as steel. Some had lost their hearts and fell to the ground, only to get back on their feet as though nothing happened. The descent of Sua's aura had tainted all creatures in the vicinity, causing them to either break down or suffer death, turning into a werewolf or a zombie. As a high-ranking Sequence 1, he could bestow the power onto his believers, but there was a time limit. On the other side of the battlefield, over 2 kilometers away, behind the shelter, although the soldiers didn't see or hear a thing, The transparent blisters began to grow on the surface of their skin as their minds were filled with all kinds of venting. It wouldn't take long for them to go mad or turn into beasts. Across the base, even to the interior of the city, it'd be a challenge to humans to maintain their clarity of mind. Suddenly, they heard a chant. It was a chant formed from sacred, ethereal voices. This music is like kind of perfect for it. This chant came from the Evernight Cathedral in the city. It was as though they were in many choirs praising the goddess. The soldiers, citizens, and officers fell asleep one after another behind the shelter. They all dreamt of a tranquil darkness, moonflowers, and night vanilla, their bodies and minds turning peaceful, no longer affected by evil. In the cathedral in the city, the high-ranking deacon of the Nighthawks, the goddess's eye, Elia, tried her best to maintain the dream that enveloped the city. She was unable to interfere with the demigod battle outside. I love how this lady is like, nah guys, you guys fight the angel, I'll take care of the peeps. I will protect the people. Which is kind of based for Klein, because like he's like, no, the innocent people, I can't stop, I can't save them. She's like, nah, I got it, king, you go beat his ass. He's gonna run away from Sue, I want to be really clear, I know that. At the next moment, Klein and Raynette felt the change in the spirituality. It seemed to transform into a layer of barriers that attempted to restrain them and restrict their actions. In the bloody mud on the Shaman King's chest, a lump of squirming flesh covered in black sticky liquid drilled out on the heels of Sua's arm. He was like a huge tree that had been splashed with oil. The extending branches were arms which had various strange objects. On the surface of the trunk that was covered in black sticky liquid, bloodshot eyes kept rolling. It cleared the mind of the onlookers, turning them into rabbits, goats, and pigs. The dozens of arms rapidly extended outwards. Some of them were sealed in the sky. Sorry. Where am I? Some of them were sealed off in the sky, while others burrowed into the ground. The rest either surrounded them from all sides or headed straight for Klein and Raynette. At the same time, Sua let out a roar that pierced through into one spirit body. It caused the two targets to tremble at the same time, causing a certain degree of stiffness to rear its head. It made the crimson moonlight in midair become even richer, allowing the scene to appear on the red screen. The core to this scene was a mummy wrapped in yellowing bandages. It had been pierced by countless brown tree branches suspended in midair. Its stomach bulged, and at times different parts bulged and shriveled, and gave as if it was giving birth to a new life. The mummy's mouth was agape as he kept screaming. Although Klein couldn't hear any sounds, he felt pain resonating within his body and soul. The chained god. The roar of Sua was formed from ancient Hermes words that exceeded the imagination of mere humans. It was essentially praying to the chained god, and he had successfully received a response. The Mother Tree of Desire was unable to infuse too much power to reality. If you wanted to pray to her and obtain the feedback at an angel level, it required a large-scale ritual. Of course, the influence of the Mother Tree of Desire directly exerted, and her attention via the chained god had qualitative differences. That also to a level makes sense from what we know. So the cosmos, or the great old ones or whatever, or the above the sequences, are unable to, for some reason, have too much influence on Earth. That's why the calamity will be in like 10 years or whatever, when whatever the barrier is will shatter, allowing them to have much more influence. So if you're praying to above the sequence, it doesn't work because their influence is limited. But if you pray to a god, they can still have like significant influences on the world. The chained god was originally not a true god, but he had contained the mutant pathway uniqueness and two sequence 1 characteristics, making him a king of angels. After giving birth to Sua, he even lost a Sequence 1 characteristic. When he was completely overwhelmed by the Mother Tree of Desire, he suffered a life of isolation. So the Chained God was... How the fuck do we just know this now? How is Klein just pulling out this information out of his asshole? What the fuck? Chained God, not... Hold on. Oh, real God. Please. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Klein, probably... No, hold on. Therefore, regardless of the essence of the Mother Tree of Desire, the effect she had on reality was limited due to the indirect methods used. But no matter what, the trap that Raynette set was luxurious enough. The trap targeted at Raynette was luxurious enough. As the projection of the Chained God appeared, the entire land was dyed with a dark red color. Klein felt his connection with the spirit world had severed, as he could no longer use teleportation. His figure leapt into the sea of flames, taking advantage of the opportunity when Raynette was fighting Sua. He reached his hand into the void and grabbed at different spots. Finally, Klein pulled out the Box of the Great Old Ones. A Grade 0 sealed artifact, the second level of which could transfer all living beings within a range to a particular scene recorded by it. A really exemplary parent. Like, not my child. Rah! If my child wants... No, fuck it, I'm not gonna say it. Luvian's gonna clip me. I really do have to stop speaking in the first person. I'm kind of... Like, if I just... spoke in the third person, it'd make it so much better, but I just don't seem to learn from my fucking fuck-ups. The silver-black, three-tiered accessory box with many gems quickly opened, revealing the interior of the second level. It was dark and infinite. In an instant, the darkness lit up the resplendent speckles, as they had transformed into a miniature universe. These bright points of light rapidly spun as the surrounding scene changed several times. What Klein expected was to move Sua, the Rose School of Thought shaman, and many of their believers into the ruins of the Battlefield of Gods. By making them leave the southern continent, they would be unable to sense that Klarman had been attacked. This way, they wouldn't be able to provide any timely assistance. However, the second level of the Box of the Great Old Ones had an element of randomness. The act of sending things to a designated scene succeeded a handful of times. Most of the time, the destination would suffer unavoidable damage, or unavoidable change, something that couldn't be influenced with luck. At least, no one below Sequence 0 could. I'm not trauma, but I'm starting to get used to the clip chimp fucking... God damn it, Luvian. Luvian had such a good reputation in my mind when he first... What the fuck? When he first started joining stream, because he would pop in, make such really cool stuff, and this motherfucker went from I'm gonna make really cool art to I'm gonna just clip chimp 14 times a fucking stream. Fucking guy. It's fine, he's not here, he doesn't know this. Therefore, when he opened the second level of the box, Klein didn't know what would happen. It was the same as not using any beyonder powers to cheat at gambling. He had to rely solely on luck. He felt his heart filled with anxiety. Of course, he wasn't too worried. No matter where the box of the Great Old One brought him and Raynette, it was impossible to harm him in any way. After all, Raynette's Hindcar was a fake, and the box of the Great Old One was fake. Even he was fake. I love how it's like, oh, you can't hurt me. Everything around us is not even happening. You know this ground that we're standing on? I fucking made it up. With this consideration, even if he was thrown underground by the box of the Great Old Ones and faced terrifying corruption, Klein could dispel the projection and enter Sephura Castle to disinfect. Building on this foundation, he had the ability to help Who decided that true? Your darkness swallowed up my son? Who decided that? Building on this foundation, he had the ability to help Miss Messenger's main body resist the corruption. Since it wasn't directly experienced through the layer of a historical projection, the outcome was much better. The only thing he needed to worry about was that the random scene selected by the box of the Great Old Ones was where Sharon and Emlyn were attacking Klarman. That way, it would be the equivalent of leading the main enemy force straight to his headquarters. This meant that they could only consider giving up on the operation, and he and Raynette would undertake the opportunity of helping his friends leave. The probability of this happening was very low, but he did have to be careful. At that moment, due to the influence of Sua's aura, Klein's spirituality froze a bit. It seemed to bind his body and soul, but it still flowed into the box of the Great Old Ones. In the blink of an eye, the scene in the second level of the box changed, revealing a vast sea. Klein, Raynette, Sua, Shaman King, and other believers of the Rose School of Thought saw endless yellow sand. Other than the projection of the chained god, all the living beings on the battlefield were instantly teleported to a desert. As for the projection, due to the departure of Sua, the connection was severed, preventing his powers from seeping into reality. Without the luxury of time to examine where he was, Klein dispelled the box of the Great Old Ones and snapped his fingers, summoning a scarlet flame. He had done so to avoid the attention of Sua, as well as grab the opportunity to complete the summoning of Historical Void Projection. At that moment, he heard an extremely evil roar. His mind went blank. The scarlet flames he was immersed in came alive, like a cage, bound to the ground. With a roar, the influence of some auras, Sua had suddenly restrained him to a certain extent. If it wasn't for the fact that Raynette, who was in her peak condition, was his teammate, Klein's projection wouldn't have been helplessly executed. Perhaps his actual body would suffer certain effects. At this moment, the huge doll the size of the castle took a step forward. There was no sound, but the distorted wood that was covered in pitch black liquid seemed to encounter a flood. It repelled backwards and raised his hand with strange protruding objects. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, normally when I'm reading a fight, even like angel level fights, I'm able to follow it to a degree. This fight, I just have no fucking idea what's going on. Normally, like even up until now, like when I'm reading fights, I can like visualize it in my head. I have no fucking clue what's going on here. Like I know they got teleported to a fucking desert, and now Raynette probably transformed into like her giant size like she was in the spirit world. I don't know what the fuck's going on though. This was a curse that Raynette had silently been accumulating for a long, long time. The root of the curse was anger, hatred, and her grudge emerged after she suffered an attack. However, Sua didn't show any obvious changes. He only staggered a little and froze before returning to normal. The high-level existences were always able to restrain low-level beyonders of the same pathway. They could even exert a certain level of influence over them. And using this opportunity to escape the restraints of the flames, Klein used Creeping Hunger to flash towards another side, avoiding the Blood Moon arrow created by Shaman King. That's why you need to slow read? Yeah, bro, if we start doing that, I'm gonna be reading like 2 chapters a stream. Okay, this shit is cooked. Okay, by the way, whoever said you won't survive the later fights, you can fuck right off, okay? What do you mean later fights? I'm like 150 chapters from finishing. Shut the fuck up. This is the later fights, okay? And he didn't dare to look directly at Sua. He seized the opportunity, reached out his right hand, and pulled from the historical void. This time, he didn't drag anything. Klein continued blinking about and repeating his actions. He then successfully dragged out a figure, none other than Ariana. Ah, thank God it worked. A thought flashed through his mind as he activated Creeping Hunger and teleported once again. The eyes of Ariana's projection darted around. Following that, she joined the battle between Raynette and Sua. With her help, Raynette, who was in a rather difficult situation and trying hard to create opportunities, finally managed to catch her breath. She didn't get possessed by Sua, nor did she become a doll. Much to Emily's dismay, good lord. The Rose School of Thought's Shaman King showcased his well-rounded aspects towards the darkness and the moon domain. He attempted to use spells like Abyss Shackle to restrict Klein's movements, but the short-distance blinking was simply too effective. Without the projection of the Chained God and his influence over the surrounding area, and to the interference of Sua, Klein was like a fish in water. He was free and relaxed. However, the Shaman King could hardly stop him in an effective manner due to the unpredictability of where he would appear. During this process, Klein grabbed at the void a few more times until he dragged out another figure. Death Consul, Isaac Eggers. The Shaman King started twitching. Another angel? Dude, the Shaman King is actually starting to fucking lose his mind. He's like, what the fuck, dude? I only brought one angel. This is bullshit. This is the third one. This is horse shit, I'm telling you. He's like actually genuinely starting to tweak out. This is like actually like fucking whether they kill him or not. Good lord, whether they kill him or not, this is actually the fucking this is actually the Shaman King. He's like, yeah, this is bullshit. I fucking had him. This is bullshit. Another angel. The desert nearly boiled and was blanketed by thick black liquid. This extended into the distance and invaded the void. Taking advantage of the fact that his teleportation wasn't affected, Klein blinked behind Isaac, with him shielding him. He grabbed at the air a few more times. His arm suddenly sank and pulled out a silvery white snake's tail. Another angel! Oh wait, what is this, Romero? What did you send?
Do something! Do something, Ref!
Ref, are you fucking watching? This guy's fucking cheating! Where are your fucking eyeballs? Oh god. The reason why he dared directly summon the three angels was because this projection of his was summoned by Raynette Heinker using the Staff of Stars. The spirituality was born by the ancient Bane, not For's. Otherwise, For's would have already fainted the moment Ariana descended. For's purpose was to first summon Gehrman's historical void projection so that he had plenty of time to set up the ritual and bring the Staff of Stars to the real world. Then, the maintenance of the projection would be dispelled, allowing him to return to the fog and have Raynette summon him. In less than 2 seconds, Sua had focused his attention on Raynette and subconsciously belittled Klein, allowing him to not only losing the help of the Chained God's projection, but also being thrown into a state of being the one who had laid the ambush to the one being besieged by 4 powerful angels. I summon an angel! and the Shaman King is like, okay, you know, like, okay, like 2-on-1. Sue has a sequence 1. He should probably be able to clutch it out. You know, he's kind of goaded. Pulls out another one. He's like, wait a minute. 3-on-1. The Death Console? This is gonna be rough. Pulls out another one. What the fuck? What is he on? With no hesitation, the Sequence 1 angel opened his mouth and chanted in ancient Hermes. He once again prayed to the chained god. With the door of summoning open in front of Klarman, just the extension of his 2 trembling hands was enough for a thought to abruptly flash across Emlyn's mind. The other angel of the Rose School of Thought, the king of curses, Baranka. Bro, Baranka? You know, fuck, you know who this reminding me of? Fuck, what's the guy's name? Baragan. I'm thinking Baragan from Bleach. Oh, that's what that's reminding me of. Okay, there it is. This was information provided by Sharon and Merrick. Upon seeing this, Emlyn's mind tensed up. With no hesitation, he waved his arm and threw the Vision of White at the door of summoning, partly because he was experiencing a battle at a demigod level for the first time, so he couldn't help but overreact. Partly because he was experiencing a battle at a demigod level for the first time, so he couldn't help but overreact. But on the other hand, he wasn't worried about losing the Vision of White. After all, it belonged to the Sanguine. At worst, he could pay it back in the future. At the same time, even without the sealed artifact, he still had other items to use, such as Leimano's Travel. With the notebook, Emlyn could summon the Unshadowed Crucifix to replace the Vision of White. Wait, I am curious now. Why does Force even need Leimano's Travel at this point? Isn't she just stronger than Leimano's Travel at this point? Isn't it just better for her to sell it to someone? After the eyeball-shaped glass sphere flew out, it subconsciously absorbed the light along the way, bringing with it extreme darkness. When it got close to the door of summoning, the Vision of White suddenly exploded into a brilliant glow, like a blazing sun at noon. It enveloped both hands and doors, melting away all evil, degeneration, darkness, filth, and aura. It wiped away the aura? Damn. That sucks. The full blood moon on Klarman's forehead was clearly affected. All the light beams were compressed to the side, preventing him from being affected. Seizing this opportunity, Sharon's figure that appeared in midair distorted, turning into a human-sized puppet. It earns her money so she doesn't sell the chicken that lays eggs. Yeah, but like, what if you could get a lot of eggs all at once? You know, like, I bet you get like some good money for selling it. Because like you could probably sell that for like, I would probably venture to say like 5 digits. I feel like that seems fair. You could probably sell it for like £10,000. Fuck the Abraham family. She's not from that family. The puppet was identical to Shaman King Klarman. It had messy black and white hair and a pair of bright red eyes. As for Emlyn, he raised his left hand and revealed a translucent ring that was worn outside his finger. The ring seemed to be made of light red amber, Lilith's ring, a ring personally made by the Sanguine ancestor, Lilith. It could project a door that led deep into the spirit world for a time, summoning an unknown creature. Emlyn was unsure what he would obtain. He only knew that under normal circumstances the object was just slightly stronger than him, but the possibility of directly summoning a demigod wasn't impossible. At the tip of the ring, blood-colored gems emitted a faint glow as an illusory door covered in mysterious patterns appeared in front of Emlyn. The door creaked open and the gap in the door widened. The Shaman King Klarman had just recovered his senses from the Sun Domain's illumination. when he saw a moon rise up behind the door of summoning, a bright moon that was silver in color. What the fuck is this? Who just showed up? By the way, Romero, are we ending on 36 or 30? Wait, sorry, are we ending on 37 or 38? I can't remember. Yeah, I think we're at 2700 now, Pushkar, which is cool. Oh, we're making good progress. We're making good progress. Um, 442? Yeah, no, thank you. I'll end stream right here. I'll do it. What do you think? You think I won't? I'll do it. I don't care. I'm gonna summon the real moon. Yeah. Linkage. Fuck you, Romero. All right, sounds good. In the eyes of Klarman, a bright silver moon rose. By the way, for whoever was asking about the last two streams, they'll be available to everyone in like 40 minutes. So yeah, okay. One of them really should have been available yesterday. It should have been available like 23 hours ago, but I clearly misclicked. It's fine. This was completely different from the normal crimson moon. It also wasn't the blood moon that occasionally appeared, similar to the abnormal state of the moon not too long ago. It illuminated Klarman's eyes and body, causing him to instantly lose contact with the crimson moon. That meant that before things went back to normal, Klarman could no longer attempt to use moonlight transformation, nor could he teleport within the moon's illumination. Suddenly, a word appeared in this Shaman King's mind: Lilith. The ancient goddess Lilith, who had once controlled the moon pathway. Such a change was out of Emlin's expectations, but Sharon, who was good at controlling her emotions, wasn't affected. Despite having become Klarman's puppet, she raised her right hand and yanked some of her messy black and white hair. Almost at the same time, on the Shaman King's head, a tuft of white hair fell on its own without him suffering any attacks. Seriously, the most interesting thing about this fight is the two battlefields happen at the same time, but one is filled with angels and the other sequence 5s and 4s. I like it more. I don't. I can barely follow one of them, okay, on a good day. So having to follow two of them is just no go. The door of summoning he had just opened had been dissolved by the full might of the vision of white sun rays. This wasn't because the Rose School of Thought's angel had been summoned, was unable to resist the Grade 1 sealed artifact, but that the door of summoning couldn't withstand such an attack. In addition, Baranka, who had extended his two hands, this limited amount of power that could remotely be projected via his descent. The evil aura that permeated in the real world had also been purified by the vision of white. Yeah, I mean, we might have to read them slowly. I mean, it is what it is at that point. At that moment, without the door of summoning, Baranka could only retreat to where he was. He waited for another summon or for Klarman to pray. As an angel, he had the status required to respond to prayers throughout the world. Did you also get that? Yes, I did get that, Dr. Z. When that strand of hair fell, Sharon, in her Klarman puppet state, didn't hesitate. Her right hand naturally slid across his forehead. She grabbed the exaggerated crack that had the full blood moon embedded there and pressed down. Klarman couldn't help but let out a blood-curdling scream. The flesh on his forehead turned into a bizarre blur as they filled up the terrifying crack blocking the miniature sun, or miniature moon. This was one of the powers of a Sequence 4 puppet of the mutant pathway called the Source of Curses. Cool. This Beyonder power would undergo a qualitative change when they reached Sequence 3. Wait, wasn't that last guy's power called the King of Curses? So is he a Sequence 3 of the mutant pathway then? Because then King of Curses would make sense that the Source of Curses would get an upgrade with him. Oh no, wait, no, I already know that pathway. No, hold on. Oh, he was said to be an angel. No, but I already know sequence 3, no? Wait. Puppet, Discipline of Silence, Ancient Bane, Abomination. No, wait, I already know that whole pathway except 0. And crack? What? Apart from being able to influence non-living creatures, puppets could also transform into mythical puppets and magical paper figurines. Through the connection established, they could use various methods to curse their target. This Beyonder power would undergo a qualitative change when they reach Sequence 3. At the current stage, it resulted in a mutually destructive damage. Under normal circumstances, puppet demigods rarely use it. Yes, no, I got that. I got that hope. The silent one, Mimosi. Was that the guy who was trying to steal the puppet or whatever when Sharon was trying to become... Oh, or sorry, the mummy when Sharon was trying to become a puppet? In other words, a puppet had to hurt themselves to hurt their enemy. The reason why Sharon dared to do so was because she was certain that since both her and her target was Sequence 4, as a wraith and a zombie, she would definitely be able to withstand the damage better than a vampire. That guy? Oh, okay. After knowing in advance that Klarman had a Grade 1 sealed artifact, the General of the Peopleless Eye, Sharon never truly thought of succeeding with the Wraith's possession. Her main goal was to use this method to establish a connection with him, to prepare for the curse. He sewed his mouth shut? Oh my god. God, my fucking... He was like this. Is this it? Is this what you're imagining? Someone says spoilers. I'm gonna fucking ban them. I'm not even kidding. I'll do it. Is it what you're imagining? All right, now we're getting to the end. Okay, so we gotta get some hype music going. The tufts of hair she plucked symbolized the official start of the curse. Destroying the target's full blood moon on his forehead was to prevent him from establishing the door of summoning once again, which would lead to pulling in a rose school of thought angel. Of course, as a demigod, Klarman wasn't going to die to a curse so easily. In the past, he would be able to use moonlight transformation and illusory bats to weaken the damage from the curse. Then, via the constantly moving at high speed, he would cause attacks while chanting the honorific name of the angel. However, under the illusory white moon's illumination, his body seemed to freeze. While Klarman's mind raced, the General of the pupilless-sized puppet on his shoulder stood up and let out an ear-piercing scream. The glass window around him shattered, transforming into bullets that shot out towards Sharon. Without anyone controlling the eyeball glass sphere. What the fuck is this name? Eyeball glass sphere. It flew up on its own, causing a gigantic pillar of light. The pillar of light enveloped Sharon, causing the surroundings to turn bright as though it was daytime. The General of the Peopleless Eye could influence ownerless mystical items, allowing them to help. Amidst the flaring sun, Sharon, who had transformed into Klarman, showed clear signs of melting on her face, contorting uncontrollably. half the large number of glass fragments melted into the pillar of light, while the other half pierced her body. Klarman once again let out a tragic cry. It made Emlyn's body turn cold as his blood seemed to freeze up. One bloody hole after another appeared on Klarman's body. He was like a candle that had been thrown into a furnace. Any damage from the source of curses would be reflected on the target. As a demigod of the Rose School of Thought, there was no doubt that Klarman knew of this. His actions just now were to exchange His action just now was to use this exchange of damage to force Sharon to stop the curse. The theurgical spells of the Sun Domain clearly dealt more damage to evil creatures. That was to say, the continuous flaring sun charm strikes caused Sharon to dissipate, but it would only be able to severely injure Klarman. As for the demigods of the Moon Pathway, they had extremely strong self-recovery abilities. In just a second, Klarman used his rich experience and deep knowledge of mysticism to grasp the problem of the source of curses, and chose the best method to see results as soon as possible. But at that moment, having lost the vision of light, Emlyn, who had summoned the strange moon, regained his senses, and took out a notebook and flipped to one of the pages. A crackling sound emitted, interweaving into a storm, emitting a strong destructive aura as bolts of lightning appeared out of thin air. Leymano's travel! Thunderstorm! Having temporarily lost moonlight transformation and the ability to blink, Klarman was unable to dodge. He was smote by bolts of lightning. Fuck yeah. Get shit on, loser. No one likes you anyway. Haha. Leo Darrow, my goat, coming in clutch. For real, for real. I don't know what we'd do without you, Leo Darrow, my goat. Sharon took the opportunity to dispel the source of curses and prevent the damage dealt to her dealt to the target from being reflected on her. However, her face was clearly much paler than before, and her breathing was weaker. The pillar of lightning from the blazing sun had indeed caused a lot of damage to her. A silvery white blob that blasted exactly extinguished, and Klarman's body was already pitch black. He's gotta be like on death's door at this point, right? The general of the Pupilless Eye rapidly turned incorporeal as though it had turned into a spectre. It was prepared to possess Klarman and move him away from the area to prevent any subsequent blows. At this moment, a blonde, red-eyed head suddenly appeared and bit the head of the doll. Klarman, who remained groggy, subconsciously looked up and saw a headless lady. Raynette Tyneker. My goat, Miss Messenger, coming in clutch every time, baby. Let's go! In that vast desert, the eyes of Raynette, who was attacking Sua with Azek Ariana and the giant silver serpent, suddenly glazed over. Her actions turned stiff as she attacked purely on instinct. This was a part of Klein's plan. So he summoned another projection of her? But when the battlefield on this side had stabilized, with Sua unable to extricate himself quickly, Raynette's main body would dispel its concealed state and return to the real world and help Sharon and Emlyn finish the attack. Looking at the tragic mummy projection in midair, Klein controlled the three angels to hold back Sua. He used their aura to influence the environment around him. He switched from teleportation to flaming jump and continued to deal with the Shaman King of the Rose School of Thought. Oh, this is her real this is her real body. I see what you mean. By the way, I will say, Emlyn is such a fucking pain in the ass. Even making him a demigod is like the hardest out of anyone else. Making everyone else a demigod so far was kind of chill. Like, if you think about it, Audrey, we just had to kill that one demigod. He was alone, no problem. Gehrman took care of him in like 45 seconds. Alger was given his shit from the church. Derek was given his shit from Artifact, no problem. All this is so easy. And Emlyn, we have to fight like fucking 2 angels. Like, come on, what the fuck? God, this guy's such a fucking pain in the ass. During this process, he appeared carefree and relaxed, but in reality, he realized that the affinity between his body and his soul was decreasing. Bit by bit, his body was becoming a spirit cage. This reminded him of the core description of prisoner. The body is the cage of the heart, and the world is the cage of the body. As time passed, he understood the meaning of the sentence. After Sua began to direct his attention at him, even if he couldn't attack him directly, he was still making him suffer corrosion. One after another, Raynet's Tyneker's head was in control of General of the pupilless eye. After another head raised the black staff that it was biting down on with its teeth. The gem-embedded staff lit up with a misty glow, and a figure appeared, none other than Gehrman, holding Death Knell. No, I'm not saying like everyone was chill, I hope. I'm saying that like everyone in the Tarot Club so far was pretty chill, not including Klein. Even including Klein a little bit, but we can say not Klein, no problem. Like all the other members of the Tarot Club that have become demigods were kind of doing it kind of chillingly, you know? Forz is gonna get her through her teacher, like everyone is kind of chilling, and this piece of shit is just has to be so fucking annoying. I know, man. We have to fight 2 angels. Oh god, get me the fuck out of here. Bang! A silver-black stream of light flew out and hit Klarman's body. Klarman's thoughts came to a halt as he froze. Spirit control body. A spirit control bullet shot by Gehrman that the Staff of Stars had reenacted. This 062 sealed artifact could allow the Beyonder powers and people that surfaced in the minds of the wielder to descend upon reality. On the other side, Sharon immediately returned to a puppet that looked identical to Klarman, who attacked her right hand and stabbed into her chest. Blood sprayed out as Klarman gaped his mouth, unable to make a sound. To a wraith, his heart was in a vital spot, but to a vampire, it was lethal. By the way, I love that. It was like, oh, you know, vampires are like immortal, except if you stab them in the heart. Well, everyone is immortal unless you stab them in the heart. What the fuck do you mean? Like, I could be immortal until someone stabs me, stakes me through the heart, and I'm like, damn, wasn't immortal. Yeah, no shit. What does that sentence even mean? Without giving Klarman any chance to resist, Emlyn flipped through Leimano's travel and released the historical void projection and took out bronze unshadowed crucifix. His fingers pressed down on the spike, allowing the blood to flow out and cleanse the cross. After Sharon removed the source of curses, Emlyn threw the spear of light and watched it pierce through Klarman's chest, pinning him to the high wall of the cathedral. Bright light suddenly expanded and completely extinguished Klarman's last breath. Unshadowed spear. Hope, do you know who you're talking to? What a silly question. Who are you talking to? In the vast darkness, Klein suddenly stopped while facing Sua and the Shaman King. He took off his hat, pressed it to his chest, and bowed, as his body disappeared and faded. During this process, Klein wasn't worried about being disturbed at all. This was because it wasn't that he was attempting to leave, but that Raynet Tyneker had dispelled the historical void projection. This also meant that the operation at the other battlefield had succeeded. By the way, guys, that number is slightly off. I'm a little older than 6,000 years, not 8, okay? The Bible says the world is only 6,000 years old. So how could I be 8? That'd be silly. Don't. That fan fiction is crazy. We'll show it. Alright. Alright, 12:37. We'll end it here then.
And I've got to make my decision. This time it could be my moment.
Only 2 hour stream, I know. Only 2 hours. Hey, if you guys wanna watch me play Lies of P, let me know, okay? Okay, let's go. As the golden rays of light shone down, Klarman, a shaman king who had lived for over 1,000 years, collapsed into pieces at the entrance of the Evernight Cathedral. Every part of his body charred black, drained of his blood. Amongst them, something fell out of the black robe ashes. It was the size of a normal-sized palm. Its texture didn't appear human at all. It had a dim luster. If he didn't have it on such an occasion, Emlyn definitely wouldn't have believed that the palm was part of an exquisite doll. Emlyn definitely would have believed that the palm was part of an exquisite doll. Another head in Raynette Tanker's hand swung forward as it bit the palm. At the same time, Sharon's figure turned incorporeal as she entered the remains of Klarman, speeding up the expelling of the characteristic. Emlyn composed himself and looked at the door of summoning created by Lilith's ring. His body suddenly turned into a hazy moonlight. Bro, how the fuck is this guy 1,000 years old and is only sequence 4? This is so crazy. Oh well. Hope, I already do that, bro. Why do you think I'm out here begging for memberships? Every penny I have goes to horse girls. What the fuck do you think is going on here? Please join. Emlyn composed himself and looked at the door of summoning made by Lilith's rig. His body turned into a hazy moonlight. The crimson moonlight shattered into countless fragments of light. The bright and devilish red scales swam around in the area enveloped by moonlight, restructuring besides Klarman's corpse into Emlyn White in a tuxedo and bow tie. Emlyn, why were you asking why he's a sequence 4? Because it is because killing him means fighting angels. Okay, but he has angels on his side. Go get a sequence 3 characteristic. The bright and devilish red scales swam around in the area enveloped by moonlight, restructuring beside Klarman's corpse into Emlyn White in his tuxedo and bow tie. Without looking at the characteristic that seeped out, he dispelled the unshadowed crucifix, bent down, and picked up a vision of white that he had previously thrown to the side. His other hand shook Leimano's travel as he flipped a book to another page, which had traveling. Emlyn's figure turned transparent as he vanished. He followed the plan and was the first to leave. He didn't interfere with Sharon and the company's cleanup of the scene. After all, he was the weakest one there. He had used up a lot of his energy in the battle and was relying on artifacts and mystical items. As for the spoils of war, they would be distributed once they returned to Backland. In this aspect, Emlyn fully believed in Gearman's promise and the Rose School of Thought's Temperance Department's credit. After teleporting back to an empty house in Backland, he threw down Leimano's travel and took out a bronze box with many red gems embedded in it and placed the vision of white inside. After doing this, did Emlyn finally have the energy to take off the glove on his left hand? He saw that his fingers were filled with blisters and swollen. With the Sanguine's regenerative ability, such low-level damage should have long healed, but it hadn't improved at all. The burns brought about by the vision of white will at least last a week. The soul-stabbing pain was immediately eased by a cooling sensation when Emlyn took out an ointment and applied it on his wound. Emlyn slowly exhaled, as though he had finally resurrected. He had dealt he had used a great deal of willpower to restrain himself from throwing the vision of white on the ground, because once the sealed artifact left his control, it would absorb the light around it and emit a radiant glow. To a sanguine, that was an excellent way of committing suicide. See, this is what I mean, like the radiant glow would just kill him. What do you guys mean he's not weak to the sun? Right on the heels of that, Emily took out a bottle of blood that he had extracted beforehand, smeared it on the surface of Leimano's travel. Then, he drank another bottle of blood to ease the bloodthirst that Lilith's ring had brought about. Why did he smear blood on Leimano's travel? Oh, to ease the pain, because it would cause him to like get lost or whatever, right? It's from a sun artifact? Sun from a grade 1 artifact? Okay. Alright. Alright. Well, since you have all the fucking answers, whatever. After such an operation, he finally removed the negative effects that the sealed artifact had on him. Only at this moment did Emlyn have the time to recall the accident that happened during the battle. The door of summoning that he had projected with Lilith's ring didn't summon creatures from the spirit world, but ended up summoning a moon. The moon hung beside the door of summoning and illuminated Shaman King Klarman, suppressing his powers. If not for this change, even if Lilith's ring had summoned a saint-level creature, the battle wouldn't have ended so quickly. Hope, you a bitch, bro. Perhaps they would have to wait until the Rose School of Thought's Temperance Angel descended to gain an overwhelming advantage. A silvery white moon. Could it be that the ancestor provided some help? After some careful consideration, Emlyn no longer had any doubts about his guess, but unlike his past, he wasn't excited or thrilled. After experiencing a demigod-level battle and confirming that he was shouldering such an important responsibility, he felt no pride, just his heart heavy from pressure. As he whispered, I am the saying, God, fuck that up. That was supposed to be such a cool moment, fuck's sakes. I am the savior of the sanguine. When he said this, his expression was solemn, somewhat dignified. What? Bro, just tell her to put it in her fucking pencil case. Who the fuck is gonna check this? Hey Kren, they'll be available in like 15 minutes, dude. I don't know. I think it's probably because they're scheduled to go live to everyone in like an hour. So for the past hour or so, they haven't been available to everyone. So just give it like 15 minutes, and then you should be able to see both of them. Sorry, I missed. I don't know if you're still here even, but. To be honest, it's a fancy pen. In the house where Emlyn met Sharon and Merrick, when the sanguine saw the perfect doll-like lady take out 2 items, he heard her say in an ethereal voice, according to the items, we will only take 1 item. This is the rest. The 2 items were a fist-sized gem condensed from thick blood. It emitted a crimson glow like a miniature crimson moon. The other item was an exquisite male doll with 2 black holes as its eyes. The Shaman King characteristic, General of the Pupilless Eye. No worries, Kren. So in like 13 minutes, whatever, like that's 3 o'clock for me, whatever time it is for you, they'll both become available. Emlyn nodded as he saw the 2 items. Just as he reached out to catch it, he heard Miss Sharon say, the Shaman King characteristic has some traces of corruption. Even the unshadowed sphere was unable to cleanse it. So I need to find an angel to help me shatter it? Ugh. I understand. Sharon, who was wearing a small black bonnet, floated up and said, thank you for your help. Likewise, Emlyn took off his hat and bowed in return. Above the grayish-white fog, inside the ancient palace, Klein looked at the wisps of the black gas emanating from his body. I got cursed by Sua without realizing it. The projection of the chained god could be the culprit as well. I was even separated by historical projection. If it were any saint without Sephura Castle, they would experience a sudden death. As for Miss Messenger, there wasn't much of a problem without the historical projection in between because she's a real angel. After the black gas dissipated, Klein waited for a while. He waited until Emlyn sacrificed the items and requested Mr. Fool to purify the Shaman King characteristic. Strange corruption. From the Mother Tree of Desire or the Primordial Moon? Klein picked up the Crimson Moon and carefully observed it. During this process, he was on high alert, preparing to mobilize Sephura Castle's powers. If he wasn't at the level of an angel here, he wouldn't have agreed to Emlyn's sacrifice. Instead, he would have chosen to smite down the power of a sequence 2 at a sequence 2 level, shattering the characteristic and removing the corruption remotely. Aw, thanks, Kren. I appreciate you popping by, buddy. Back then, Klein didn't even dare to divine the werewolf beyond her characteristic, that he had been slightly influenced by the Mother Tree of Desire. He hurriedly sold it. Watermelon, how's it going, man? You finished Volume 6 an hour ago? Holy shit, that's fucking awesome. No spoilers. It's not a fucking invitation for you to spoil me on the ending. But how'd you like it, man? After examining it carefully, Klein pressed his right hand, causing the entire mysterious space to vibrate. The Crimson Moon shattered with a crack, splitting into a tiny red dot of light. Amidst these light dots, there was a small amount of red mist that evaporated, forming a drop of fresh blood. Then the red light dots gathered here, constantly condensing before transforming into a miniature Crimson Moon. However, compared to before, it was more translucent and pure. Klein conjured a fake hand, picked up the drop of seemingly fresh blood, and discovered that it contained immense vitality. It's not at the angel level, but it is strange. It seems to have received an angel god's blessing. As Klein cut off the invisible connection that resulted from the blood, he took a paper figurine and attempted to press the drop of blood onto it. Very volume, my favorite, it just keeps getting better. That's fucking awesome to hear, Watermelon. That's fucking awesome. Oh, by the way, as always, if you're new here, or if you normally watch the VODs and you're watching this later, I guess, consider joining our Discord. Link in the descriptions. If you ever have any questions, it's a lot easier to get a hold of me there than fucking anywhere else. The moment the blood came into contact with the paper figurine, it seeped in. The next moment, the figurine's stomach strangely bulged and exploded. The moment the paper figurine tore apart, a new figurine with a hint of crimson crawled out from its stomach. The power of reproduction. Mother Tree of Desire for sure. A tiny amount of blood-colored mist emanated again, condensing into a drop of blood. The characteristic and spirituality were only slightly weakened. It needs to be repeated more than 100 times before it can be removed. Klein silently assessed as he gathered the powers of Sephura Castle to seal the drop of blood. We'll be back when you finish this, you're almost there. Yeah, the Volume 6 ending stream will be on Saturday, Watermelon. He then looked up and cast his gaze at the male doll on the long model table. The palm-sized doll in a formal suit was prostrating. It didn't dare look up. Oh, how easy it is to deal with those with living characteristics. I chuckled. As he brought it close towards the doll named the General of the Pupilless Eye. The General of the Pupilless Eye pushed itself up on all fours and quickly retreated. After a pause, it pressed its forehead against the table, emitting a sound indecipherable to mere humans. Declaring your subservience? Very good. Show me your abilities, Klein asked. After a series of demonstrations, he confirmed that the General of the Pupilless Eye could possess a target and affect lifeless items. It had a certain level of control over mystical items that no one possessed or had spirituality injected into them. The latter power might be useful at times. Klein nodded as he beckoned for it to jump into the box he conjured. After sealing it, Klein threw the box and the drop of blood into the junk pile to let them familiarize themselves with their future life. As for the negative artifacts of the General of the Pupilless Eye, Klein believed that they could discuss and resolve it amicably. Like, listen to me. You're either gonna fucking knock your bullshit off or you're gonna meet the true creator. Those are your fucking options, okay? Not really Mother Tree of Desire. The reproduction from Cynthia was just her desire enhanced. Oh, really? All right, we'll do some artwork and then we'll call it there. If I had said that, I'll say that. What? Emlyn simping for Sharon. In fairness, this is the one thing I can't blame this little shit for. I mean, calling her a doll is fucking crazy to me, but like, Sharon and Raynette, are they like mother and daughter? I mean, Raynette has like red eyes, which indicates that she has some sanguine ancestry or something, right? And Sharon doesn't, so I mean, maybe not. I don't know. Because didn't Emlyn say that like red eyes mean that like you're like mean that you have like sanguine ancestors or something? I think he said that to Ian. Temperance. Has anyone ever told Raynette she could place at least one of the heads just on her neck? Just make it a lot easier? No? New official art? Oh, that's so cool. Hey, at least in this life you have people around you. Lonely bitch. I mean... But man, that is beautiful. As always, I love chibi art. Don looks so adorable. Him holding the pipe is so cute. He's so cute. Am I okay to click these? I don't know. This looks like, he looks exactly like the guy from Eminence in Shadows. Am I crazy? You know what I mean? Alright, bye Dr. Z. Thanks for popping by. You can? Okay, perfect. This is cute. She looks, her eyes look like they're brown here, but like, very nice all the same. What language is this? Gotta be like Thai or something? I don't know. AKA basic isekai prototype, yeah, something like that. A hangman, very nice, very cool. Vietnamese? Ah, maybe. The sun? It looks very skinny, I don't know why. I imagine the sun is very buff. Magician. I know he's like 15 or 16 or whatever, but he's been, you know, basically exercising since he was like 6. Thai, I found it looking up the web novel cover. Ah, cool. Gearman, this looks very cool. This looks very spot on, I think. He's a little bit more douchebaggy than normal. I don't know why he's spilling blood on his own pants. I mean, that works. Hermit. She doesn't look like what I would imagine. Ah, whatever. What does 9 here mean? He's not 9 years old. I know that for sure. Leonard. This looks fine. Again, a little bit more douchebaggery than normal, but still fine. Judgment. This actually looks pretty decent for how I would imagine Geo looks. This looks fine. Hermit doesn't have the pirate feel. Buff with what? Bro, buff with monster flesh? What do you mean? What? You gotta imagine that monster flesh makes you... What the f is this? Isn't it the volume 1 cover? I don't like this at all. I don't know why I don't like this at all. I just hate this. This looks fine. I mean, that facial structure is so cooked. But I mean, that looks fine in essence. I feel like if they fixed his face a little bit, this would look fine. Which is such a weird sentence to say. This looks great. This looks totally fine. I don't know. Day later, this is the one I'm familiar with. Yeah. A cuttlefish that loves diving. I was an AI, I was stock. Oh. Why did the... Am I crazy? Did the chair get shorter in this version? Am I crazy? I think the chair got shorter. Like the chair has such a high back here, and it's like... I think it's still a high back, but like... In comparison, it feels so shorter. Alright. Alright guys, I think we'll end stream there. Oh, maybe it's the aspect difference, that might be the case. Alright guys, I think we'll end stream there. If you wanted to watch the last couple of VODs, they should be available now. So feel free to go check those out. Thank you everyone for popping by. If you're new here, consider joining our Discord, link in the description, whether just to pop by, say hi, or if you ever have any questions or anything. That's it. As always, I'll catch you all tomorrow. Bye guys.